Jannik Sinner wins the Paris Masters 1000 and regains the world number 1 ranking. Jannik Sinner defeated Felix Auger-Aliassime in the final of the Paris Masters 1000 and returned to the top of the world rankings, displacing Carlos Alcaraz. The Italian Jannik Sinner capped off a perfect week at the Paris Masters 1000 by beating Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-4, 7-6, 4, this Sunday, November 2nd. With this victory, the 24-year-old not only claimed his first Masters 1000 title of the year but also regained the number 1 spot in the ATP rankings, once again taking it from the Spanish player Carlos Alcaraz. The triumph in the French capital marks Sinner's 26th consecutive indoor win, a surface on which he has been practically unbeatable. This title represents his 5th trophy of the 2025 season, the 23rd of his career, and his 5th Masters 1000, the first since Shanghai 2024. After conquering the Australian Open and Wimbledon, the Italian has confirmed his dominance on the circuit. Since July, he has lost only 3 matches, 2 of them by retirement, and has claimed titles in Vienna, Paris, and 2 other tournaments, solidifying himself as the most consistent player of 2025. The rise of the Italian is even more significant considering that at the start of the season he had to serve a temporary doping suspension, from which he returned stronger than ever. In Paris, he completed the tournament without dropping a single set, something that hadn't happened in a Masters 1000 since Indian Wells 2023, when Alcaraz achieved it. With this new trophy, Sinner joins the select group of active players with 5 or more Masters 1000 titles, alongside Novak Djokovic, 40, Alcaraz, 8, Alexander Zverev, 7, and Daniil Medvedev, 6. Return to the world throne. In the final, Sinner was superior from the start. He broke Auger-Aliassime's serve in the first game and never relinquished control of the match. He dominated with his serve, conceding only 3 points throughout the first set. Although the Canadian raised his level in the second set and forced a tiebreak, the Italian maintained his composure and sealed the victory in just over an hour and a half. Thus, Jannik Sinner regains the top spot in world tennis, a position he had lost in August after falling in the US Open final against Alcaraz. However, his lead could be short-lived. In the coming weeks, he will compete in the ATP Finals in Turin, where he defends 1,500 points, while Alcaraz needs only 3 wins to return to the top. These are Alcaraz's scenarios to regain the number 1 ranking at the ATP Finals. Alcaraz will finish the year as world number 1 if Sinner does not win the title. He wins all 3 group stage matches. He reaches the final having won 1 or 2 group stage matches. He wins 2 group matches and Sinner wins the title losing 1 match. He wins 1 group match and Sinner wins the title losing 2 matches. We analyze in detail what Alcaraz needs to take back the number 1 ATP ranking from Jannik Sinner at the 2025 ATP Finals. Jannik Sinner insults his coach in a court outburst as his future remains uncertain. Jannik Sinner's frustrations boiled over on Friday night during the Paris Masters quarterfinals when he was caught swearing at his team midway through his match against Ben Shelton. Despite taking the first set and leading 3-1 in the second, the Italian began muttering toward his box after being broken to love, demanding to know why they were effing sitting down. Sinner managed to regain his composure and secured a 6-3, 6-3 win, but his future with coach Darren Cahill remains uncertain, as Cahill is expected to leave the team at the end of the season. His quarterfinal match against Shelton on Friday told a similar story, with Sinner looking shaky at times but still managing to win in straight sets. The 4-time major champion expressed his frustration with his team at the start of the second set, urging them to show more energy. After playing a sloppy game, Sinner gestured toward his box, waving his arms. Commentator Adam Fielder noted, "You don't see that often from Sinner. I think he was just asking his team to stand up. They found it quite funny." Darren Cahill stayed firmly seated. Shelton immediately broke back, leading Sinner to confront his coaches during the changeover. "I get a break and you're effing sitting down," he vented at Cahill and the team, who responded with shouts of Forza. Sinner secured another break late in the second set, thanks to a Shelton double fault. That gave the Italian the chance to serve for the match, which he did successfully, sealing his spot in the semifinals with a winning shot. The 24-year-old may want to tread carefully with Cahill, as he hopes to persuade the esteemed Australian coach to remain part of his team. At the beginning of the season, Cahill announced that this would be his final year coaching Sinner. However, after Sinner's victory at Wimbledon, Cahill appeared to reconsider his decision. When asked whether he would change his mind, Cahill said, "I don't want to answer that. You know what? You'll have to ask Jannik." During the Italian segment of his post-match press conference, Sinner joked, "It depends on whether I want to tell the truth or not. We made a bet before the final, I told him that if I won, he could choose whether to stay or leave at the end of the year. Now the choice is mine. As the 2025 season draws to a close, Sinner and Cahill have yet to discuss their future plans. Before last week's Vienna Open, the world number 2 told ATP Media, "To be honest, we haven't talked yet. We said we would finish the year and then have a long chat to try to convince him." But in any case, whether he stays or not, he's been an incredible person and obviously a coach who kept the whole team together during tough times. He's like a second father to me, so I'm happy to have him here. It's a great privilege to work with him. Our goal is something very positive, that he stays, and I'll need a lot of hope for that. Sinner continues to set aside the possibility of regaining the world number 1 ranking at the end of the 2025 Paris Masters if he manages to lift the trophy. The Italian, already in the semifinals after defeating Ben Shelton again despite physical doubts, admits that he continues to take things day by day, focusing on overcoming each individual challenge, the next being Alexander Zverev. With a match-by-match mentality, Jannik Sinner remains focused on reclaiming the world number 1 ranking after the 2025 Paris Masters. The Italian needs to win the title in the French capital to return to the top, at least for a few days, taking the position from Carlos Alcaraz, but he prefers not to focus on that and instead on clearing the remaining 2 hurdles to win the championship. Sinner confirms his romance with a famous model and influencer, ex-girlfriend of Schumacher's son. Jannik Sinner has addressed certain rumors about a love triangle involving models Brooks Nader and Leyla Hasanovic. The Italian tennis player was elegant but direct, confirming his relationship with the ex-girlfriend of Mick Schumacher, the Formula One driver and son of Michael Schumacher. Sinner thus makes official his romance with Leyla, with whom he had been linked for months. "Thank you very much for the support, for your work, your effort. Even understanding me sometimes isn't easy, but thank you for your commitment. My family, my girlfriend, my friends, and even those who support us from home, thank you so much for all your support," said Sinner after defeating Alexander Zverev in the Vienna Open final to claim the 22nd title of his career. The famous Sinner phone wallpaper. A few months ago, the Italian press unleashed a media storm around Jannik Sinner. The reason had nothing to do with his performance on court, but with a personal detail that didn't go unnoticed by photographers or the celebrity press. Sinner was caught holding his phone, and on the screen, visible to everyone, appeared the image of a young woman whose identity quickly sparked speculation. Journalists soon identified her as none other than Danish model Leyla Hasanovic, a regular figure in the fashion world and known for her past relationship with Formula One driver Mick Schumacher, son of the legendary champion Michael Schumacher. The discovery spread like wildfire in Italy, where Sinner is already seen as a national symbol not only for his impeccable tennis but also for his carefully crafted public image. The revelation of who was on the player's phone wallpaper caused both surprise and curiosity among fans, since the young star has always been extremely private about his personal life. Until now, Italy's number 1 tennis player had avoided speaking about romances, close friendships, or possible partners, but he has now confirmed his relationship with the young model. Leyla Hasanovic, of Danish origin, has established herself as one of her country's most promising models, with collaborations for major international brands and a strong presence on social media. Her relationship with Mick Schumacher was closely followed by the German press and motorsport fans, who saw in the couple the union of 2 young people whose names were already synonymous with success. However, that relationship ended, and each went their separate ways. In a country where the private lives of elite athletes quickly become matters of national interest, the romance between Sinner and Hasanovic is no exception. Even more so considering that Jannik, at 23 years old, is one of the emerging icons of world tennis, destined to succeed the great champions of recent decades. Every move he makes, both on and off the court, is scrutinized, just as happens in Spain with Alcaraz, who has also been linked to several young women.